Hi, how's it going? How are your New Year's resolutions coming along? That good, huh? You lying? Yeah, 4chan, just needs to be in all the videos. So it's March. So if you're anything like I used to be, or like most people are, then your New Year's resolutions were probably forgotten about a month ago. Or 2 months ago. Today we're going to talk about a few strategies that I like to use to make sure that I'm still making progress towards my personal and professional development goals even after that initial push in January. Before we get into any of that though, thanks for tuning in. You're watching the Christiana 321. I am the Christiana, and today I'm so excited you're hanging out with me. So at the beginning of the year or at the end of the previous year, you start seeing a lot of media, YouTube videos, stuff online, Reddit, I don't know, whatever your preferred form of media is, encouraging you to look back, to see how far you've come through the year, and to see like what do you want to improve on, where your life is today, and get some ideas for where you want to be a year from now or some arbitrary amount of time in the future. Side note, I think this is actually a really great idea. We should be looking at our past and thinking about our future at regular intervals, but I've got two caveats. Caveat number one, make sure that you're celebrating the wins too. Don't just focus on all of the things that you want to improve on. Look at what you've accomplished. You've come so far just by surviving the last 2 years. And caveat number two is it doesn't have to be at New Year's. It doesn't have to be at your birthday. Those are just times that are easy to mark as the end of a previous thing and a start of a new thing. And so that's when we think about looking back. But it doesn't have to be. You could do it on St. Patrick's Day if you want to. I do encourage you to think about it more than once a year, but it doesn't have to be when everybody else is thinking about it, So if we do that, and we know what we want to improve on, and we know like where we are with our life and everything, we've decided I'm going to treasure time with friends and family more. I'm going to run a 5K in less than 25 minutes by September 5th because that's when I signed up for the 5K or whatever. Why do we as humans, because this is a problem everywhere across the board, except for like a few highly motivated individuals who I think are just like magic maybe? Why do we have such a problem sticking with it? And the answer is inertia, which is that fun little bit of physics that says that an object at rest will remain at rest, an object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by another force, which in your case and in my case means that if you have a habit, you're going to keep doing that habit unless enacted upon by another force. And that force can take a lot of different things. It could be a major life event that makes you change what you do, or it could be a book that you read that's just really impactful. It could be watching this video. I mean, probably not just watching this video, but it could be. So businesses are great at this. We're terrible at this. Yeah, I've seen it done well and I've seen it done poorly, where every few years they revamp the way that they think about the future. And in doing so, they fight that inertia. They fight that status quo when they go from talking about MBOs or management-based objectives, I forget what it's called, or KPIs or OKRs. OKRs are objective key results. We're talking about SMART goals, which if you're watching this video and you like to be on the productive outside of YouTube, you've heard of SMART goals. I'm not going to go into detail about any of these, but basically every few years or so, they'll change it up. Whether it's just like visually changing the way that they do the communication, or they change some of the words, the way that you think about the milestones and objectives. They change it from you having, yearly performance reviews. Well, now, instead of having one yearly performance review, you should be talking to your supervisor or manager every month about your performance and giving feedback in both directions, 360 feedback, give it all over the place. And all of these are great ideas and great tools to use in different contexts, depending on the company, depending on the workforce at that company. You need different tools. The companies that I've been a part of and that my friends have been a part of tend to revamp it, and that fights the inertia by re-energizing their workforce. If it's done well, if it's not done well, change management's a topic for another video. That's all I'm going to say about that. So the question is this: if you find yourself drifting away from your resolutions every year, why do you keep making them? Inertia? It's just a habit at this point. Everyone wants to feel like we're improving professionally, personally. Nobody wants to feel like they're getting worse. Maybe you already are amazing and you just want to keep that same level of amazing, but then you're probably not watching this video. So we set goals to achieve that next level, to keep getting better every day, continuous improvement. But not all goals are created equal, and just like different companies need different tools for managing the goals and expectations and milestones they've got coming forward, people need different tools depending on your personality and what your goals are. There are dozens, probably hundreds, maybe thousands of different tools out there to help you. But I'm going to share with you the one that's been working for me. So think of yourself as a company. You are the CEO, but you are also an individual contributor. So what's going to help you? What's going to motivate you to not just set the goal to get better every day, but to actually make progress towards it? So this year, instead of setting specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals for the year, what I did was I set some priorities. I looked at my life and what I was thinking about for the next year, what I could see of my future, and I picked 3 to 7 things that I thought are important to me and will probably be important to me at least through the next 12 months. What do I want to focus on? What do I want to be improving in my life? So then I got a list. My list is 6, and I put them in order of importance. And now throughout the year, I know we're only in month 3, but I've done this in various ways over the years. But throughout the year, that order of importance will change. But in general, the actual priorities haven't changed. And unless I go through a major life event, I think they're probably going to be about the same. I'll tweak the wording a little bit here or there. But so I've got my 6 big categories. And then throughout the year, I make little SMART goals. Things that I could achieve in one day or a week or a month. Usually not further out than a month, because then it just gets to be too abstract or too big of a goal usually. I like breaking it up into little chunks that I can focus on for a specific period of time, that I'm not going to lose track of it because it's a short enough amount of time, that I can achieve it. And each of those SMART goals should be supporting one of my 6 priorities. But also, if I'm just out living my life and I need to make a choice about how I'm going to spend my time or my resources or whatever, then I have this list of priorities that I can look back on. And now I'm not just always going to focus on priority number 1. So if priorities number 1, 2, and 3 are all in good are all in a good place, then my time and resources should be focusing on priorities 4, 5, and 6 and making sure that those are in good places. Because even though they're not the top of the list, they made the list of priorities, so I do want to focus on them. And if all 6 are like doing well for the moment, then I'm gonna go do whatever I want. I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great and kind of theoretical, but you want cold, hard facts, some examples. So let's go through my list of priorities. And again, orders changed, messed with the wording a little bit here and there, just to make it make a little bit more sense in my life, but here we go. Priority number 1, get all A's. If you didn't know, I am in a master's program and I currently have a 4.0 as of recording this, but I am waiting on grade to come in. Priority number 2, read at least 12 books this year, and I am not doing well on that one. I've read 1 book this year and it is March, so might need to ramp up a little bit, but that's because my class for the first couple of months have been really time consuming and we didn't have any books to read for class or anything, so I was too focused on priority number 1, and so priority number 2 has fallen behind a little bit, just a little bit. We still have a long time and I've got a lot of books that I want to read, and I think that I will need to read for some of my future classes. Priority number 3 is create and stick to a budget. This is another one that I haven't put a lot of emphasis on. I have a vague idea of my budget, but I really want to put pen to paper and get really strict with myself. I've got some big savings goals coming up, and so figuring those out, and so making sure that I'm saving enough to be comfortable for those goals is a priority. Being in a new job in a new location, I didn't have a great idea of what my monthly costs were going to be in, but now I've got a few months under my belt and I think that I've got a good enough idea that I can start on this one. Priority number 4 is biking to work at least once. The weather up here is very cold for a lot of the year, and then supposedly gets really hot and humid for a couple months of the year, so I don't have a lot of time to actually make this happen. I'm thinking September will be a good time weather-wise, but up until then. So my work is about 10 miles away on like decent roads with bike paths. If I took the highway, it's a shorter distance, but also I'm not going to bike on the highway. So in order to make this happen, I need to increase my stamina and my cardio health, as well as working on my biking muscles. In the last couple of years, I've kind of let my physical health not be a priority, and so I'm trying to refocus on that. In my life, I've not been a big biker. Can you imagine? So building up my biking muscles once it does get a little bit warmer outside, which it's been warming up, so I feel like I'll be able to start doing the actual biking part soon, and then building up my distance on the bike. But this is one that I've been able to set little SMART goals, whether it's a step count for the day, or one time I did one that was the number of flights of stairs that I needed to climb up in a week. Fortune is just, well, she was using her little claw thing. Okay. Yeah, as soon as you went on camera. Then I turned the camera away. It's helped me keep doing little workout things to keep my activity levels up while it's been so miserable outside. But I'm excited to start doing some more outdoor exercising as well. Priority number 5 is to finish unpacking and moving in. I've lived here now for 4.5 months, give or take, and most of my rooms are just like half unpacked, which has been okay, but really inconvenient. You can see behind me though, just last night I built my second bookshelf and filled it with all of my books. If you'd like to see my whole office getting put together and building the bookshelf and filling the bookshelves and everything else that I need to do in here, make sure you subscribe because that video is coming. It's gonna be real long though. Like, I've already filmed a lot and I'm only like halfway done. And the final priority for me is putting my phone down more. I spend way too much time on my phone in lots of different contexts. Some of it is productive and some of it is to help me stay connected to my family back home and everything. But I just don't like the idea of always staring at a screen. You should keep staring at this screen for a little bit, but in general, I want to spend more time living in the moment and observing the things around me. So I've been making a real conscious effort to either put my phone on airplane mode, leave it in another room so I'm not tempted to look at it, so that I can be reading or hanging out with a friend so that without the distraction, or just chilling with my cats. But like I said, this is not just a set it and forget it kind of thing. I look at these all the time. So if you aren't used to doing this sort of thing, make sure that you you write your priorities down and you put them in a place that you're gonna see a lot. Not just stick them on the refrigerator so you can walk by them every day, but somewhere that you're gonna see it and actually think about it and make sure that you are zeroing in on what's important to you. But then also, like, throughout the year, if you need to make changes, make changes. If your life is different 3 months from now than it is right now, your priorities might be different, or they might just be in a different order. Make sure that you're checking in with yourself and at whatever period of time makes sense for you. But this is what I'm doing to make sure that I'm being my best self and becoming a better version of myself throughout the year and throughout my life. So what about you? Do you have any tips or tricks for making sure that you're continuing down your path of personal and professional development? Let me know in the comments below, and hey, if there are tips down there and you didn't find my tips helpful, maybe you'll find them helpful in the comments. And then just for you, you don't need to write them in the comments unless you want to. Just take a minute and write down some of your priorities. Where do you want to be focusing your time? At 3 to 7. That's my goal. If it's more than that, then it's really difficult to keep track of. What are you going to be focusing your energy on for the next several months? 6 months, a year, something in that kind of time frame. And then what are some shorter term goals that you can be doing today or tomorrow to help making sure that you are making progress in those priority areas? So thanks again for hanging out with me. It's been a blast. If you like this video, if you learned anything or it made you think about something a little bit different, like this video. If you want to hang out with me again, hit subscribe. Sometimes we do these serious chit chats. Sometimes we do goofy shower safety videos. Sometimes we bake cookies. You never really know what you're gonna get. But either way, have a good night, sweet dreams, and I love you.